going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Comic Conversation. We've got a lot to talk about today, so let's get to it. First up, we have Spider-Man and the X-Men #1 by Elliot Kalan and Marcos Faella. As the title suggests, this book follows Spider-Man and the X-Men. As a request by the recently deceased Wolverine, Spider-Man has come to the Jean Grey School of Higher Learning to teach a class on what else? Responsibility. He's got a ragtag group of X-Men there that he's trying to teach how to be responsible for their powers and become better heroes, or heroes in general. He's getting a lot of pushback from all ends, including the core members of the Jean Grey School, Iceman, Beast, Storm especially, and he's trying to convince them that he's right for the job. He also has an ulterior motive that I'll let you read about once you pick up the book. It's a fun book, artwork's cool, a little bit cartoony, but I think that's sort of the point of it. It's supposed to be fun. Spider-Man is fun. Love his eyes, reminds me of Todd McFarlane's illustrations back in the 90s. That's the only thing that reminds me of Todd McFarlane, but the eyes bring back that feeling of when I was a kid reading Spider-Man. Writing's cool too, a bit wordy, but especially for a book like this, but it was cool. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to be back for round 2, and I'm going to go ahead and give this one 4 capes. Good start to the series. Can't wait to see what happens next. Next up, we have Wonder Woman 36 by the new creative team of Meredith and David Finch. Now, most of you already know David Finch, but Meredith, his wife, is a little bit newer to the comic book industry. In fact, a lot of people had their reservations about her taking over such a big book, especially such a popular book as Wonder Woman has been one of the few extremely bright spots in the DC universe. The previous creative team of Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chiang really just hit it out of the park. But I gotta say, this has been a solid start so far. David Finch is bringing his A game to this book, and it's probably maybe his best work I've seen since he's come to DC. His wife Meredith does a good job too. Dialogue, storyline, everything moves. It keeps it going pretty well, and it's a good read. Definitely have to check it out. But other than that, it was a little bit slow, but it's overall a solid start to the book. But I'm going to go ahead and give this one 3.5 out of 5 capes. Good start to the book, but I want to see what happens next. Okay, and to wrap things up today, we're going to be kicking off our independent spotlight segment. All the household names in the comic book industry had to start somewhere. So what we want to do is spotlight some fresh talent in the comic book industry. If you want to know more, if you want to send us your book, hit us up at comicCONversation@yahoo.com. Okay, so the book we're going to showcase in tonight's Independent Spotlight is Battle for Ozellberg, #1. This is a different take on a classic tale. The readers will recognize that it's the story of Little Red Riding Hood pretty much off the bat, but there's a lot more to it than that. Sort of a sword and sorcery sort of thing, and I had a lot of fun reading it. Want to see where it's going to go, if maybe they're going to introduce any more fairy tale characters to the storyline. Even if they don't, I think it's a cool read anyway. If you want to know more, go to www.ozellberg.com or facebook.com/Battle for Ozellberg. Alright, that about does it for today's episode, but let's keep the conversation going, people. Hit us up at comicCONvo on Twitter, or go to facebook.com/comicCONversation. Till next time.